Hello students of class FYJC. Welcome to the class. You all are switched on to English class. On your screen, section 4, 4.1, History of English Drama. So students, this is something new to you, absolutely new. Hope you have studied rapid reading section in your early classes. Then it is just the replica of the same. I hope students you all are interested in dramas. Yes. There are many students, there are many people, those who are very much interested in novel readings. They get engrossed in novel readings. They have tremendous passion to watch English dramas or any drama of any language, maybe Hindi, Marathi. But that calculates your passion, how much passionate you are about learning, about watching those dramas. So here on your screen you could see the history of English drama. We are going to study something in detail about the history of English drama. Students, right from first standard till now, so many textbooks you have studied, especially English textbooks. Yeah. And to my knowledge, yes, English is one of your favorite subjects. Why? Because English is a very mesmerizing subject. It tells you different stories, beautiful poems. Yes, you find yourself in those lessons. You try to match yourself to the characters of the story. So students, right from your early childhood till now, English textbook or Balbharti or Kumar Bharti have been your good friends because continuously you have been studying them. Fine. Now student, even some of the active students, they are very much interested to participate in dramatization. Just remember your activity periods when you got the opportunity to climb up the stage and to perform. How was the experience? And see, in the introduction only the question is on your screen. How dramatic you are. Do you feel, do you have that aura of being dramatic? If not on stage, in your regular life. Some are very much fond of it and they love to create a scene. I'm saying it ironically. Sometimes when the child starts throwing tantrums, then we say that, come on, don't create a scene. So here we are going to study the history of English drama, which is going to be a very interesting subject, very interesting topic. I hope students, you will find it somewhat lengthy, but if you are listening to me attentively, yes, with the textbook in your hand, then this particular session will go very fast. So come on. How dramatic you are is the first question. Is your response when a friend exaggerates or overreacts? Just I said about throwing the tantrums. It's the same. When your friend, they exaggerate or they overreact, generally we make this statement. Oh my God, how dramatic you are. It means you are correctly using the adjective form of the word drama. Drama is a performance which is essentially loud, exaggerated, and larger than life. It is an audio-visual medium. Please take note. You can hear it and you can see it. So it is an audio-visual medium. The audience sitting around, in front of, close to, or in the last row of the theatre should be able to hear and see the actor on the stage. For example, the stage. A stage whisper is far louder than a whisper in real life. Please mark these words. They are very effective words. This would be example of willing suspension of disbelief. Underline it. Willing suspension of disbelief. Students, it can be defined as a willingness to accept the unreal. Yes, I would like to state the example of the heroes, the protagonist, the hero of the movie. How he is. He is doing all unreal things on the screen, but we take them as real. Example of the hero, superhero, Rajnikant. He performs what not on the screen. Student, we all know it is very much untrue. It is unreal. Then too, we develop the willingness to accept that unreal situation. That is what willing suspension of disbelief is. It may also mean sacrifice of realism. Yes. When we enter the theater or when we start watching a movie, we keep ourselves away from realism and logic things. Okay? And we enter the theater just for the sake of enjoyment. The term was coined by the poet and aesthetic philosopher Samuel T. Coleridge. The term often applies to fictional work of the action, comedy, fantasy, and horror genres. It refers to the willingness of the audience to overlook the limitations of a medium. Now, is it possible for one hero to beat 50 villains around? Is it possible? Is it within the human capacity that one person can hit back 50 villains at a time? No, it is not possible. Then to students, we are very much overlooking the limitations and we are just towards that. Yes, we are in the state of willingness suspension of disbelief. Whenever you're watching a horror movie, you know it is a shooting. Everything is scripted. Everything is well planned. The entire crew is standing in front of that haunted house. There is no fear at all. There is no ghost at all. Then to students, while watching the horror movies, we get engrossed in those movies. We enter the haunted house with fear. And literally we start searching the ghost. So students, this is what making of drama is. Drama is a medium expression whereby performers express themselves artistically. The performance is based on a script which is in the form of dialogues, whereas a story or a novel is written in the narrative form. Poetry is language expressed in rhythm and meter. Drama is the specific mode of fiction represented in performance. A play, opera, mime, and ballet are performed in a theatre, on radio, or on television. Now, students, you all know what is a play. You must have seen, you must have enacted as well. But what is an opera? Opera is a type of drama in which music plays a major role, along with singers, typically accompanied by the orchestra. Then the other word, miming. What is miming? Have you ever practiced miming? That not to utter the word, but to convey the messages through action. That is miming. So the audience will get to know what you want to say through your miming. And then comes the ballet. What is ballet? What thoughts are coming to your mind when I said the word ballet? Yes? Anything? Students, ballet. It is a ballet, not ballet. It's a ballet, a type of drama which conveys a story, message or theme through dance, along with music and appropriate use of props. that is ballet. So all these are performed in a theater, on radio or on television. Now, what is drama? Drama is a composition in verse or prose to be acted on the stage, in which a story is related to by means of dialogue and action, and is represented with accompanying gesture, costume and scenery as in real life. Yes, students, we find a new life, we find the characters in real on the drama screen or on drama stage. They are so natural as far as their gestures are concerned. In drama, that character get involved in the characterization. That actor get involved in that character and assume oneself to be that character, which are very much supported by the dialogues, gestures, costumes they wear, and the background scenery. Then we feel it as all these things are happening in the real life, though they are not in the real life, but they are just dramatized. Shorter Oxford Dictionary, drama is a composition designed for performance in the theatre, in which actors take the role of the characters, perform the indicated action, and utter the written dialogue. Students, please take note. Everything is scripted. Everything, their performance, their actions, their dialogues. Someone is planning, preparing it for them and handing it over to them. And then they perform it. So lively, so naturally, that we think that, yes, he is not creating any drama, but he is the one of the real life character. Now students, as we are dealing with this drama, let us go through a glossary of literary terms by M.H. Abrams. On your screen you could see the elements of drama. The elements of drama are plot, characterization, dialogue, settings, stage direction, conflict, theme. Then what are the four closely related areas of focus? Yes, so these areas are: number 1, the focus of the scene; number 2, the focus of the audience; number 3, the focus of the character; number 4, the focus of the actor. And what are its objectives? Again on your screen, its objective. Students, after studying this unit, you will be able to understand and identify drama as a genre of literature. You will learn the definition of drama. You will be able to explain the difference between drama and other forms of literature. Moreover, students, you will also be able to explain the basic elements of drama and understand the types of drama. Types of drama. Dramas are of 3 types. Number 1, tragedy. Number 2, comedy. Number 3, tragic comedy. So students, in comedy we have varieties of comedy, but in tragedy and tragic comedy we don't have any other options. Sorry. So in this comedy we have romantic comedy. Comedy is comedy, something that makes you laugh. But romantic comedy, so it is very much accompanied with a love story. Sentimental comedy, though it is a comedy, but the background is very much emotional, which makes you sentimental. Okay, so it is very much focused on feelings and emotions. Then there is a classical comedy. Yes, classical. Something that is based on the past era, something very much historical, something that do have a classic touch, a very elegant and rich touch. So that is classical comedy. Then we have comedy of humor. So there you have a burst of laughter, comedy of humor. For example, Charlie Chaplin, Mr. Beans, Laurel and Hardy. All they were the performers of comedy of humor. And then we have comedy of manners. Comedy of manners also have some different way of speaking about comedy of manners. It's a very important thought when we discuss comedy of manners. Students, please take note. Learning comedy of manners. What is it about? Comedy of manners means witty, cerebral form of dramatic comedy that depicts and often it is a satirical writings of manners. It satirizes. Okay, and you will also develop affection of a contemporary society. Students, comedy of manner is concerned with social usage and the question of whether or not. Please take note. Comedy of manner questions of whether or not characters meet certain social standards. So students, as we move further with this content, you will get a proper question based on comedy of manner. Just take note of it. That comedy of manner is a representation of something that is very much witty, something very much dramatic, that depicts and very often give the ironical touch, satirical touch of the contemporary society. Like a funny king of the time. Very funny, ridiculous king of the time. So students, whatever kingly, he is kingly, so he is presenting himself in a very humorous manner. Okay. Now student, this particular page is very much horizontal in your textbook and in my textbook as well. And on screen also. Just quickly take a note of this page. Elements of drama. Elements of drama. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 in all. Just count. 7 in all. So there we have plot, characters, characterization, dialogue, stage direction, conflict, and theme. So students, what you study in the plot? In plot, you study the series of events occurring in play. It means plan, scheme, or pattern. It has beginning, middle, and the end. Then what do you study in characters? The most important element of drama. Yes, characters. They are the most important element of drama. The protagonist is the main character of the play. Protagonist means the lead hero, the main hero. Next, other characters are major, minor, static and dynamic, flat and round. Students, all these words are qualifying the characters. Yeah, in a drama, some characters are important characters, so-called major characters. Some are minor characters, those who are in side role. Some are very much static characters like villains. They have some firmness in their character. Some characters are very much dynamic, happening. Okay. Some characters are very flat characters. Here, what do you understand by flat characters? I would like to give you one idea, a thought of flat character. A character known for one distinguishing quality or characteristic. A particular distinguishing quality or characteristics. That is a flat character. Okay. And round character. Round character is also one more pattern. Round character is opposite of flat character. A character with a complicated personality who is usually depicted as contradictory person. So, round character means a villain character, a role in villain. Next here students, take note of characterization. Yes, as we are discussing the elements of drama, what do you understand by characterization? It means to reveal peculiarities of the characters, to gain insight into their personalities, establish connection with them. So that is characterization. Next, dialogues. It involves two speakers. Of course, the dialogue is always between two people. But sometimes students, it is also designed to be monologue. Now what is monologue? When the character speak to oneself is a monologue. Next, it is soliloquy. What is this soliloquy? Character's thought process expressed aloud. Yes, students, many times in the movie we see that the person is not saying the dialogue. There is no lipping on the screen, but then too, the word, the thought process which is going on in his mind, you can hear it clearly. That is called soliloquy. Means even the thought process which is going on in the mind could be heard by the audience. And all such things are only possible in drama. Take note. Then student, dialogue also reveals the nature of character and gives information about his relation. So students, dialogue matters a lot in drama because it gives the peculiarities, it expresses the thought process of the character. Moreover, it tells you about the nature of the character, how the nature is, loving, caring, harsh, angry, sad, boring. How is the nature of the character? All these things are revealed to us through the dialogues which they use for conversation. We get to know that particular character. Next student, it is about the stage directions. Those are interested to become the director, please pay attention. Performance of the actors during the course of the development of the story, along with the use of set lighting, music and costumes. So that is what stage direction is. Proper setting of light, proper music background, and proper usage of attire, that is wearing the costumes. Okay, that particular actor who is representing Shivaji Maharaj should look like Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, should be dressed up like Shivaji Maharaj. Then only people will recognize him that yes, he is playing the character role of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Else we will not be able to recognize him. So students, the one who is looking after the stage direction has to take note of all these important things. Next, stage direction are guidelines, suggestions given by the dramatist. Then we come to the important part of the drama, that is conflict. No conflict, no fight means no drama. So students, conflict, it is the essence of drama. Yes, every drama needs a villain. Every story needs a villain to create a scene. If everything is very much in harmony, then with whom our hero will fight? Therefore, students, in a drama, certain things are ought to be bad. Certain things are ought to be negative. Certain things are ought to be very much wild, giving you anger. Because there must be something very much fake, false, untrue. Then only our hero will fight back all the negativities. If all is in good state, our villain will have no scope to fight back. So conflict is the essence of drama. It enlightens life, grants dignity and worth to human life. Yes, student. When it comes to the conflict in drama, we have two major roles. One is of hero and the other is of villain. And immediately we all get into the hero character, that this is what I am. You get into, you see yourself in the hero character, and you are fighting the negativities. Automatically, students, you are learning the values of becoming good in your life. There and there, you work with your conscience. You become so much judgmental that whatever my hero is doing is the right, and whatever the villain is doing is wrong. So the conflict between the hero and the villain make you understand the plot. And naturally, all the people with good heart, they always favor the heroic acts. They are not at all in favor of the villain. And by the end of the movie, by the end of the drama, when the villain passes by, then literally audience, they clap hands. Is it wise to clap hands on someone's death? No. We are not clapping hands. We are not expressing our happiness because the villain is dying. We are happy because the negative thoughts are dying. The cruelty, the wickedness of the society is dying. The person with the bad thoughts is dying. Therefore, we are happy when the endings are happy. But every time the ending is not happy. Please take note. Sometimes the drama also ends up on a sad note. And the last element of drama is the theme, the main idea or point of a play stated as a generalization. So students, take note here. When we are speaking about the theme, it is very much generalized. Means it is very much scrutinized. Someone is working on that theme day in, day out to portray the real picture of happening. Take note of it. That is generalization. Okay. So, finally we study the theme of that, what is the message conveyed through this theme. We work on that. Okay. Now students, here a short history of drama. Introduction to English theatre. Drama has its origins in folk theatre. We therefore cannot consider drama merely as a part of literature. Words are the medium of literature as an art, but drama is a multiple art using words. Scenic effects, music, gestures of the actors, and the organizing talent of a producer. The dramatist must have players, a stage, and an audience. Very important, students. A director, one who is directing that drama, do work on scenic effects. What are these scenic effects? Scenic effects are the effects which are created by the small structures used to indicate the location in the play. Okay, they are the scenic effects. Effects are very important in dramatization. So, scenic effects. So, next we have is music, background music, happy music, sad music, encouraging music, loud music, appreciating music, melancholy music, dead music. So all this music, different types of music do help the scenic effects. Moreover, the gestures of the actors, you could make out that yes, the girl in the drama is crying. You could make out from a gesture. The girl in the drama is in love, so her loving gestures could be seen. The romantic gestures on her face could be easily identified. So students, this is nothing but organizing talents of a producer. Please take note. It takes a lot. Moreover, students, a dramatist must have player, a stage and an audience. The beginning of the drama in England are obscure. Obscure, that is, they are relatively unknown. The people were not knowing about it. Now students, see, please take note why the word obscure is used here. Now if you are watching any TV serial, immediately you can make out that iske baad ye hoga, uske baad wo hoga. You start guessing, and many times your guesses are right. You know why? Because the newness of the story is over. We get to know either it will be this way or that way. Finally the movie will end up. But in those days, when the drama began for the first time, the audience were absolutely ignorant. They were not having any thought about what will happen the next. And because of this, their nature, which was relatively unknown to the next happening, the performances of drama was much more electrifying. When you know the end of the movie, that watching movie becomes meaningless to you because you know the end. But in case if you don't know the movie's end, then your curiosity level enhances, it goes to the highest, and you continue watching that movie. So that was the beginning of drama in England, when the curiosity of the viewers, the curiosity of the audience was at its highest pinnacle. So there is evidence to believe that when the Romans were in England, they established vast amphitheatres for the production of plays. But when the Romans departed, their theatre departed with them. Students, please underline the word amphitheatre. Amphitheatres means an open air theatre. Open air means no roof, no shed. An open air venue in an oval building. See, the shape of the building is oval, which raised three tiers that serves as seats for the audience during the contest of spectacles used in the ancient Rome. Students, if you will Google it, you will be able to see these amphitheaters, how they were like, open to sky. Okay, so untimely rains could hamper the play under such circumstances. If there is a sudden rains all of a sudden. But amphitheaters were open to the sky. Okay. Moreover, this type of theatre departed with the Romans. They went. Then there was minstrel. What is this minstrel? Any idea? Minstrel. After amphitheatre, there were the minstrel theatre, a musical entertainer in the medieval times. Then students, there were minstrel performances accompanied with lot of musical entertainment to the audience, and that was the medieval time. People enjoyed their performances. Gradually by the 10th century, the ritual of the plays that itself had something dramatic in it got extended into the rudiments of a play. Underline the word rudiments. What is rudiment? Rudiment is a noun, understood? A basic element of something. Rudiment, a basic element of play. Between 13th and 14th century, drama started having themes which were separated from religion. The words themselves were spoken in English. A longer dramatic script came into use, and they were called miracle plays. Students, please take note of it. Miracle plays. Miracle plays started in 13th and 14th century. Okay, now here the script is no more dramatic. but full of miracles, and people, they enjoy miracles. These plays were dedicated to the lives of various sons rather than biblical events. Just like mystery plays, the miracle plays also began as an effort to create more interest in church services. Students, please take note. The distinction between miracle and mystery plays was not observed in England. Hence, the term were used interchangeably. So take note, miracle plays were also said to be mystery plays. But in those days, the word was not popular. Mystery word was not that popular. So people, they continued using that those plays are miracle plays. Okay, something jadui, magic. Later, these religious dramas were the morality plays. Yes, we all love to watch the movies where we could see God, God, presence of holy people, creating some magic, miracles, because they are the people of Holy Spirit. Yeah, they are the divine, and therefore, whatever they perform, that becomes a miracle to the people. So, such plays like religious dramas were the morality plays in which characters were abstract vices and virtues. These were allegories. Students, please take note. Dramas were the morality plays in which characters were abstract vices. Here characters were played. Wise character means a bad character, a bad or wicked quality of person with moral flaw. Got it? And the other type, virtue. Characters were virtuous, like a good or desirable quality, a character with a strong moral point. So students, in this morality plays, both the characters were standing on the stage. One was in favor of good and the other was in favor of bad. These were the allegories. Allegories, please underline. Allegories. What do you understand by the word allegories? Student, allegory, especially in theatre, it's a type of play in which the characters represent good and bad moral qualities. I repeat, allegory is a type of play in which the characters represent good and bad moral qualities. So students, here this is where I stop. Okay, in the next session we'll continue with the same lesson, with the same unit 4, and then we'll take a start from Elizabethan and Restoration period. Okay, so that's enough for today's session. You please read it again, what we have studied, understand it well, till we meet for the next class. Take care of your health. Bye.